Welcome to the most important week of the year for the podcast industry. Welcome to Podcast Movement 2025.
Greetings, audience. This is The Future's Talking Back, realizing the potential and possibilities of interactive audio. It's great to see you. Thanks for coming. I've got an august panel of industry experts here. We're going to interrogate them, suss out all their knowledge, and give you lots of takeaways from their expertise. So thanks for coming. I'm James Boggs, and it's a pleasure to be your moderator today. So I'm a co-founder with Andy of Spooler and lead the team there, and used to be manage Apple Podcasts for about a decade. I've got Mr. Steve Wilson here, who's Chief Strategy Officer at QCODE, might have heard of it. And so I used to work with Steve when he was leading Apple Podcast marketing back in the day, so pleasure to have him. Got my co-founder, Andy Bowers, who also is co-founder of Megaphone and started Spooler with me in 2021. And last but not least, certainly, Peter Ferioli. Did I pronounce it? Did I get it? Got it. Ferioli. It's like my son. Peter Ferioli, so he's Chief Operating Officer at Pantheon Media, a long-time online content maestro. So it's a real pleasure to have Peter with us today. And helping us with this video that we're going to tee up as sort of an introduction to what we're talking about when we say interactive media. We've got Carrie Donahue, our fantastic executive producer at Spooler, also teaches at Stony Brook and a variety of other enterprises. So take it away, Carrie.
Okay, I'm waiting for this to connect, so I'm just going to say, again, Carrie Donahue, executive producer, Spooler, waiting for the keynote to connect. So,
Get closer.
Okay, I'm going to get closer to it. We wanted to show you a video today because it's not so easy to understand exactly what we're talking about when we think about interactivity with podcasts. And it's still not connecting yet, so hang on for a second. We're having a slight technical difficulty. I don't have the script, though. Well, it seemed until recently that when we were talking about interacting with computers, it was literally the work of science fiction.
Hello, computer. And how are you today?
All systems are functioning within normal parameters.
Verbal interface. Impressive.
Sorry, I'm going to try hitting this again. 1 second. It is impressive indeed. And now people are doing this every day. So you can hear it here.
Hey there. What's on your mind today?
Do you think a verbal computer interface is impressive?
Absolutely. It's kind of like something straight out of sci-fi that we actually get to play with now. It opens up a lot of fun possibilities.
Possibilities, but not yet necessarily for podcasts. Right now, podcasting remains a fairly linear medium, so literally going from one end to the other. I want to show you a little bit about what it looks like when you're making a more interactive story. So here you can see different nodes where you can include different elements, including, if you notice here, calling attention to the Ben Franklin AI agent, where you can do something like even create a conversation with, say, Benjamin Franklin.
I have time for 2 questions from you, as they say in your time. Ask me anything.
And this is the workflow for a mystery story that has all of the elements you'd expect of a podcast. It has, great sound design. It has terrific dialogue. It has, all the creative elements. And then in addition, it has opportunities for interaction with the listener. It has ChatGPT moments where you can program it. And you can even ask the listener's name and if they agree to it, their location. And that can all be worked into the narrative. So I wanted to show you 3 examples. We're going to do it through AI videos that we created of people actually playing and having experiences with the interactive audio that we've created. The first one is a daily crossword audio program called Links, and I want to introduce you also to AI Me.
6 letters, zucchini, or what happens if you step on one?
I'm not sure. Maybe mess?
No, it's squash. Our answer is squash.
That's right. The first answer is squash. 3 points.
3 points. Okay, and the next video is a Grateful Dead game that we created with our terrific partner, Peter. It was made with the San Francisco Tourist Board in honor of the 3-day blowout celebration they did marking 60 years of the Grateful Dead in San Francisco. It's a game for deadheads to test their knowledge.
I think that's trucking. No way, man. Uncle John.
Our answer is
Uncle John's Band.
Spectacular dig, Sonic Sleuth.
And there's also one that's sort of that, remember that game Telephone from when you were a kid, where you say a sentence and see how it passed around? Now kids can play this game with us as we've created it, so that they can interact with some mostly friendly monsters, and I can assure you that the monster never gets the sentence right at the end.
Hi there. I hope you're ready to play Monster Telephone.
I like to eat apples and papayas.
I heard. I like to squish giggles and pajamas. Is that right, Isabella?
All right, so we've given you an idea of what we can do. We would love to create more things with more people, explain with this. It's interesting, it's fun, it's really creative, and it feels like something new. Now I'm going to turn it over to the esteemed panelists to talk about more what we can do together.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thanks, Carrie. Right on. All right. Well, maybe I can throw to Andy first. So what did we just see? What interactivity? What does that mean? How do you define it?
Well, we're talking about voice interactivity and the idea that for any piece of audio, you can insert the ability for people to engage with it, talk back to it, and change the course of what's happening. In a quiz, that's very obvious. You are asked a question, you get a right or wrong or close answer. But there's a lot more things you can do with it than just quizzes. You can use it to reinforce knowledge. For example, that thing you saw with the Grateful Dead that Peter did, they do a podcast called Rock and Roll Archaeology that gives you lots of information about the history of rock and roll. And a quiz like this at the end could reinforce what you have heard during the podcast episode. There could be leaderboards to see who knows the Dead or other bands they cover the best. There could be, we're talking actually, Peter is to some very big, very well-known bands that I wish we could tell you their names, but they're super interested in having this for their biggest fans and maybe giving out prizes for the people who know the bands.
Wait. This just sounds like ChatGPT voice. Those are like, what's different here? I mean, why can't I just build this with my favorite GPT? I'm looking at Peter now.
Well, I believe ChatGPT people go to find answers. I really don't believe they go to become part of the conversation and find a custom narrative or a story that they can be a part of, or they can change the direction. Most people I believe still using ChatGPT mostly as a search or knowledge tool, as a utility platform, and Spooler and this interactive, being able to talk back to your podcast in real time, is just a massive leap forward in engagement, in audio engagement.
And maybe, Steve, turning to you, what do you think about that? We've got, a history of Alexa. Is this something that's different? What's the delta in terms of user experience? The first generation of Alexa has been out there, Siri, etc. What do you feel the opportunity is?
Yeah, some of the voice agents and kind of talking to Siri and Alexa feel very transactional. And, as I got the demo from James and Andy on the Spooler builder, this sort of whiteboard of imagination here, I was sort of blown away by all the possibilities. At QCODE, we're perhaps best known for scripted fiction podcasts. These are deep stories that are 8 to 10 episodes, very immersive, Dolby Atmos sound design, creative works. And when you look at this, you can't help but look at it and sort of see the opportunity to perhaps do kind of a choose your own adventure podcast in the fictional space, right? That would allow the listener to have a little bit more agency in that kind of narrative storytelling. And then another thing that we're, of course, known for at QCODE is our ad sales and distribution. We help so many podcasters really earn money. We work with the weekly show with Jon Stewart, for example, great dating and relationship show, Jillian on Love. And what I think this is really exciting for is the opportunity to frankly create a branded experience for so many creators and brands that they can actually have a specific environment that's built around their content and their community, frankly. So ChatGPT, our experience, we're all using voice modes and voice agents today, but it's very singular, right? And here, if we think about building a dating app that has a knowledge based on that creator's work, you actually are building that community in around a personality.
I love that kind of a sense of the boundaries that you're trying to push at QCODE across the different types of shows you make. That sounds like very interesting. Yeah. Okay. What about the difference between, one of the tension points is lean in and lean back. Podcasting is classically lean back. You're not engaged with the content. You're pressing play and listening on demand. That's why we love it, of course. But it's not like there's any action needed to enjoy the content and IP of a podcast. So what makes you guys think? Maybe I can push back to Andy. What makes you think that there's an opportunity? Do folks who love podcasts want to be able to talk back? Why is that?
Well, people have been talking back to computers now for a number of years. It started with Alexa. Alexa was a kind of brittle experience for anyone who tried things on it. You had a very limited amount of time to answer. You had to hear that terrible Alexa voice. They're getting better. They have a new release that very few of us have actually heard, but I think it's going to get a lot better. But that was Gen 1. We are now much farther along than that. And I think that once we can put beautiful sound, beautiful production, realistic sounding voices into this, there is an opportunity for people to feel engaged in it. And I will just say that we started developing this technology when we were working with a big automaker. And I happen to think that the car, especially on long drives, is a wonderful place to engage your mind, to do the kinds of things you do playing the New York Times puzzles on a screen, but do it with your mind as you're driving along and keep things percolating along there as you try not to fall asleep.
Wait a minute. In the car? That sounds a little dangerous. I mean, I love that quote from BCG. It's describing the market for in-car electronics and software to hit $660 billion with a B by 2030. That sounds like a big chunky market of coming from podcasting, especially. But Peter, in the car, doesn't that sound distracting? What are we talking about? Being able to talk to your car while you're driving? What do you think about that?
Well, being from the Bay Area and seeing the Waymos and for a long time and using them and seeing that it looks like any other car. There's two seats that face forward in the car. But I have to imagine that soon we're going to have the experience where you open up the door. There'll be no two front seats. There'll be a table in the middle, and you kind of will enter the car, and the car will probably listen to you where you want to go. It'll probably maybe ask you where to go, and you can talk back to it and tell you where. And maybe in real time as you're driving by a restaurant or historical spot, the car will inform you about what's around you in real time. And it feels like this platform has the technology to be able to do that.
Yes, it does have location awareness, just to push that point home.
You and the team at Pantheon did some location storytelling, I think, around the Grateful Dead, right? Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so the idea with the SF Travel Group was we released a week by week leading up to the 60th anniversary of the Grateful Dead in Golden Gate Park. We did a decade by decade podcast, but we focused on the history of them in San Francisco, the venues, the culture, the city. The mayor is very pro-music. He wants to bring San Francisco back as a big music city. And so with the city, we built out a puzzle, a podcast puzzle that we're coining the phrase, that went along with the podcast. So as the listener was engaged listening to the audio one format, it was easy to move them over and have them listen and be sticky in the trivia app, right? So if you go to podcastpuzzle.com, little plug there, you can play all 5 decades of each episode that was released.
Are plugs allowed in this panel? It's very plug heavy so far. Yes. Okay. Well, all right. So you're talking about autonomous vehicles. That's not widely distributed technology yet. Andy, Steve, or maybe I'll throw to Steve. In car, what's your opinion? Is there an opportunity for QCODE that you can see? And what about the branded side of your business? Is there anything that you're interested in with new interactive capabilities and location?
Yeah, certainly. I think the car has been, a very sort of structured place where we listen to podcasts today. We see people choosing podcasts sometimes that meet the length of their drive, but it's not sort of magical. Many podcasts we talk about in the industry for years, in the 45-minute zone that allows someone to listen to the show on their way to and from work. The average American's commute, maybe not for those in the big cities, but the average American's commute is about 25 minutes. So it's sort of somewhat arbitrary that we've been doing shows that are around an hour long at times. And I think when you think about the fact that this technology knows your location, perhaps might even be able to recommend audio in the way that you build this knowledge map, you could end up with an audio experience that feels just right for your drive. And to the question around, sort of branded work and sales, this technology works in a web browser or an app, and certainly you could spin up your own app that's bespoke for your show or your community. Or I've been thinking a lot about how this could be, frankly, a custom experience within an existing app that's out there. So think of the various industries. Marriott here has a phone check-in, capability within their app. Imagine them building something pretty cool in the travel space, content-related, that you could discover around your location when you're, here in Dallas, for example. The possibilities in my mind are kind of endless, and I had this sort of like moment when I saw that Miro-style mind map, trying to think through what those right affordances are that could meet various kind of opportunities. But you could, I think, do the exercise in any kind of industry, whether it's, real estate, whether it's, hospitality or food. So many great apps out there that they could just frankly add this experience into their existing app rather than have to build a full new one.
That's the beauty and elegance of a node-based design system. That's right. That's right. Thank you. Appreciate that feedback. Andy, you touched on Alexa. I want to drill down on a second about the kind of the generational difference. Why is audio gameplay now advantaged by all the crazy advancements in conversational reasoning, LLMs? What is it that you like about this? I mean, we've had Alexa forever. What's different now?
Yeah, it's been a massive change. First, the original Alexa games, if you ever played one, they had a hard and fast rule. You could only have 8 seconds to answer. You couldn't change that. And if you didn't answer in time, the game just stopped dead. So you were done. And this was not very much fun. And it didn't have a lot of AI baked into it. What's going on now, and what we've been able to leverage, and others as well, is the idea of putting in LLMs and text-to-speech with really quality voices right in the middle of this, so that you can, someone can give an answer like you ask their name and they say, well, my name is Henry, but most people call me Harry. So what is his name? In the old days, you wouldn't have known what to do with that. The LLM can parse that instantly and say, oh, he prefers to be called Harry, so the name is Harry. It can do all sorts of other things. You can give it the correct answer to a complicated question and let it be the Jeopardy judge. Did it get close enough in natural language to what the real answer was to be considered correct? And it does an amazing job at this. And in our games, we've been able to get rid of that 8-second thing. So you can even talk with your friends as long as you want and debate the answer to a question. And then when you're ready, you say, oh, my answer is this. And that's when it starts listening. So there have been a lot of improvements since Alexa. I haven't seen the new one yet. Maybe they've solved all those problems too, but it's already working.
That sounds like
Not
some...
so much?
Some...
Oh, okay.
No, we have a no from the audience. That sounds like some first-hand hard lessons learned from initial kind of exploration and game design. Maybe, Peter, you've been cranking away at a bunch of different concepts and prototypes. Is there something else you can illuminate ourselves and our audience with about what you've learned in terms of audio game design so far?
Yeah, I mean, as an interactive audio platform, I think going to games and trivia I think that's one of the easiest things to do. But being in the platform for the last couple months with our team and some development, and finding the real power and the true source of what this platform can offer, is things like archived old audio that people aren't monetizing or sitting there, whether it's old radio, old jingles, sports calls, name that tune. There are so many things we're trying and we're executing right now in the platform that, like Steve mentioned, when you see it, it's this giant, open, beautiful kind of sandbox, and you can vision these different things. But we had the ability to in 2 weeks, turn around that game for the city of San Francisco on the platform. The power of the platform is, unlike Alexa, Alexa's designed for Amazon. This platform is designed for all creators. That's one thing that really hits home in it, and sharing it with people. So we're all kinds of questions, trivia, interactive storytelling. One of the things I'm working on right now is a large band has an album, it's a concept album using some of their songs to create a fictional narrative that through playing it and choosing your own path, there are 6 different endings. And you can go through it and play it 10 different times and get a different result each time. So just using the platform to build those very fast and iterate quickly, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds like fantastic gameplay and engagement, but what about the dollars and cents, the Benjamins? How do we make this a profitable exercise, an extension of a going concern podcast that's in the black? Why is this interesting as an extension, an opportunity, an economic opportunity? Maybe Steve, do you want to opine on what do you see as the monetization vehicle here?
Yeah, I think there's a few different paths that you could think about for this. Certainly, when I looked at this, I was thinking about this opportunity for sort of pseudo-branded podcasts, and where, again, big companies out there that have these experiences in their apps today are looking for more interactivity. You know, companies are looking to have more engagement with fans. You could certainly build something here that's a branded experience for another company. I also think a lot about the sort of fandom and communities that are out there around maybe people in the audience's shows. Many people here have, you know, long archives of hundreds, if not thousands of episodes. And for their audience experience, they've followed them, you know, maybe since the beginning, but they're getting new listeners every day. And, you know, I think a lot about the experience for this to be, you know, leveraged to package a new product that they could give to their audience. Perhaps it's, you know, a special experience for their super fans that could be monetized through their subscriptions or given access to through their, you know, Patreon, for example, but becomes sort of an extension of the kind of overall fandom that they have with a long-running audience.
But you can also monetize it through advertising. Normal podcast programmatic advertising can slot right in here just from your existing account. So that is a possibility as well.
And one thing that we're really excited about, because it is an app and in-app purchases. So as you build out these experiences and you build a daily or a weekly game, you can archive those back and you can reveal those, put those behind a paywall in an app. And people are apt to pay for that high quality content and go back and play some extra content in the app. With in-app purchases, I think are going to be big.
Peter, let's stay with you. You at lunch, you were telling me about some of the AI ethics and sort of health and safety work that you've done. What do you think about transparency? What's the best policy? How do you think about it through the Pantheon lens for use of AI like this? What are the ethics?
Yeah, so, you know, it's such a creator's tool in a sandbox that, you know, you really need a human to do this. But the AI in this platform, what I call AI for good, is really helping us to not take over our creativity, but be an actual assistant in what we're doing. You know, like you mentioned, James, I do talk to some companies about alleviate fears about it taking your job. How do you use AI, training it on your data? And this platform is something that is in evidence in a way we can use AI in combination with our creativity as app developers, game developers, podcast creators. So, you know, for me, it's one of the best use cases of using AI today is the platform.
Can I just jump onto that? I totally agree with you. And like many tech innovations, it starts with engineers, and engineers are brilliant at coming up with great new stuff. They aren't always brilliant at coming up with the creative uses of it. And the people in this room, in this audience, you make audio for a living. You monetize audio for a living. You are the creative force. And what I think will be the ideal world is if we can take this technology, harness it, put interesting guardrails around it so it doesn't just run off into hallucination city, and make experiences that are worthy of great audio.
I want to point out that in the audio game links that we mentioned, AI Carry gets really excited when you get 2 points in particular for some reason. It's like 2 points, you know, even more than 3 points. It's worth checking out. So ethics and AI, maybe we could just finish that with a digression, Steve, at this topic with you. How do you know, big network like QCODE, lots of different content partners of different levels of profile. I have to imagine that in your business, AI ethics and transparency is a topic that you've thought about. And is there a policy, or how do you think about framing that with your kind of the branded work side of the shop and then the other parts of the network?
Yeah, this is a whole new world, of course. And I think, we are marching into this, I think like so many others, like trying to figure it out, candidly. When you think of a QCODE fiction show, for example, with big celebrity talent names, Chris Pine, Rami Malek, Matthew McConaughey, you don't just jump into this app and use their voice likeness, right? So I think our actual application of this will take some time to figure out, particularly with talent relationships and these kinds of areas that are being navigated across Hollywood. And so I think overall our application is going to be a little bit case by case, IP by IP, really kind of be sort of matrix across, frankly, where do we have, a great use case and something that will make sense for all of our partners involved. So we're taking it slow and trying to find the right things that actually will make sense across all these different considerations, for sure.
I have to imagine that after the Scarlett Johansson OpenAI whole thing, that your high-profile celebrity partners might be even more sensitive than before about voice usage rights and things. Is that the case that you found?
Yeah, across Hollywood, the sort of feelings of AI are very mixed. Some talent are really excited about the possibility, are even licensing their voice likeness and visual likeness to AI companies. Frankly, even estates are doing that for people who have passed away, so that their legacy continues on, and they're tech forward in that sense. While others, of course, are very against it. So it's a very case by case sort of thing when you're dealing with lots of talent and agencies and studios and partners. And we of course want to be on the ethical side, as Andy talked about. So just making sure that we're kind of walking into it sort of above board. And our shows are built in true partnership with talent, right? They're co-owners with us in the IP. They're executive producers, often attached in derivatives in any work. So we're really walking into it in true partnership with everybody that we work with across those properties.
Just quickly, briefly on that, I wanted to mention that one thing I also like about the platform with AI is that it's transparent. That's the first thing we tell people. If you go and use AI, if you use links or any game, you'll see a little link to the AI voices are used in this game. So there's no one trying to hide anything from anybody in this platform, which I really love, being open and upfront about it.
Yeah. All right, well, we have a couple minutes left. Let's look back briefly and then look forward. You three are OG podcast guys, I would say, but Andy in particular has been there since before the beginning, I would argue. So Andy, are there parallels here? This is a completely new thing, or do you see some parallels with, say, 2004, 5 to 10, that early chapter of podcasting?
I do. I see a lot, but mostly I feel it. I remember in 2004, 2005, being elated all the time. It was spaghetti at the wall time. We could try anything we wanted. No one was listening. I made some of the worst podcasts you could possibly imagine. And I made a few that are still on today. So I loved that sense of experimentation, of trial and error. And that's where we are with this right now. I make a new experience in this platform in my off hours at least once a week, sometimes once a day, just for fun, just to see what I can do. Does it work? How can I fix it? And I feel like Willy Wonka in his chocolate factory, in that invention room where he can just try whatever he wants. Most of it will never see the light of day, but boy, does he have fun.
Awesome. And with that kind of look back, maybe we could go one by one and just, what's most exciting, Peter? What do you think of all the concepts? Like maybe looking a little bit further, next couple of years maybe. It's a dangerous game to make predictions in AI media tech, but I'm going to ask you to do it nonetheless.
Well, I don't want to make any more predictions and just briefly mention, film for 100 years has gone from celluloid to digital to 4K to 8K to VR, AR, video games. It's continually transforming and streaming. And audio, we've had radio, podcast, audiobooks, and music. Basically 4 formats of audio that are all passive. And so as we move, we used to write things down, we typed, and as we talk to our devices and we speak more, I believe that speaking more to your devices at home, in your car, all around you, as OpenAI and Sam Altman puts little speakers in everyone's pockets in the next couple of years, it's going to be voice activated, is going to be where we are moving. So this is the future.
Steve, I'll give you the last word. What's the most exciting, looking out over the next couple of years for your business and in this space?
Boy, it's hard to think about what the future will look like. I mean, I think, so many people are talking about this, influx of content that's coming. There was a conference in LA called AI on the Lot, which is all about the intersection of AI and Hollywood. They talked a lot about, there's a great talk by a guy, Doug Shapiro, where he's describing this sort of White Walkers, Game of Thrones style of just AI crap that's coming. And and this sort of world we're going to be faced with, inundated with so much. And I think what that sort of speaks to is the need for better curation and discovery. And frankly, I'm excited about what this is offering because there's in this, I think, an inherent opportunity for people to make things that do feel curated and lean towards the discovery. Again, about maybe a great past catalog or kind of experience around a show that will mean that there's more signal to the inundation of noise that we're all going to experience.
I love that. Well, thank you, panelists. Andy, Peter, Steve, I really appreciate your time. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We're going to hang out if there are questions.